If you've been around YouTube for any amount of time, you're probably aware that its copyright claim system is absolute garbage. For the uninitiated, there are basically two forms of Content ID copyright claim. One is automated, which scans through videos with some sort of AI algorithm and determines which ones it decides are in violation of copyright laws. And one is a manual claim option, wherein companies or representatives of them can manually claim videos. And as a YouTuber, you can even manually claim videos if you think that they are using your content. But in both of these cases, rather than looking at the video in question and coming to some sort of fair judgment, the copyright system just automatically assumes the video is in violation by default, halts monetization, and sometimes even removes it from visibility, and it's up to the video creator to file a counterclaim, which isn't sent to anyone at YouTube, but instead just gets sent to the company in question. And the company can choose to reject it, which oftentimes they do. As you might predict, this system is rife for abuse, and frequently, large corporations will just claim anything that criticizes their works, even if it's within fair use. And the automated system is often even worse, as it will frequently aggressively claim videos, and puts the onus on the accused to prove innocence when they are assumed guilty. Don't get me wrong, I understand the line's gotta be drawn somewhere, you can't just re-upload full episodes of Family Guy, but I think that it is far too lenient in the sake of the corporations, and far too strict on individual YouTubers. And to demonstrate why this is such an absurd system, I'm going to give the top 5 most ridiculous copyright claims that I've received in my limited time as a small-scale YouTuber. Also, for obvious reasons, I'm not using visuals related to these examples because then this video would get copyright claimed, so instead enjoy Bravely Default gameplay or whatever I put on in the background. Number 5 is a shared slot between Jurassic World Rebirth and Begonia, both of which are films that I made reviews of. Jurassic World Rebirth had an entire video dedicated to it, meanwhile Begonia was just part of a rankings list that I put on my second channel where I gave my thoughts and little mini reviews for all of the Best Picture nominees for this year's Oscars. Both of these videos were manually claimed, citing Jurassic World Rebirth and Begonia, claiming that I had uploaded the full video, even though I included 30-second clips to give context to what I was talking about. The fact that Begonia was the only movie to be claimed on the 10 Oscars video makes me suspect that these claims, each of which were filed manually instead of automatically, were because I gave negative reviews to the film in question. I had positive thoughts about the other 9 Oscars and none of them got claimed. I ended up having to re-upload the video with a bunch of weird distortions because when I filed a counterclaim, it was immediately rejected, lending more credence to the fact that they just didn't want a fucking negative review out, which is absurd because what, like 200 people watched that video? I'm not a big name, I'm not a big name and I don't specialize in films, so yeah, just kind of absurdity, but it only gets weirder from here. The number 4 slot goes to my playthrough of Dark Souls 1 at Soul Level 1, which is something I streamed fairly early on in my YouTube career. The specific stream that got claimed was the one where I fought Ornstein and Smough, and the Ornstein and Smough boss fight was claimed. Unfortunately, this sort of thing happens fairly frequently when playing video games, as the game company will claim that you are using their audio inappropriately if the song is in the game you're playing. But the thing that makes this claim particularly weird to me is the claimant was not From Software, but was listed as Australia Governmental Institution. I'm not certain if this was actually a governmental institution from Australia or if it's simply a name that was input in the form when the false claim was filed. But for the rest of the playthrough, the idea of Australians constantly attacking me was a meme, so we at least got some joy out of it, even if I lost the 30 AdSense I would have gained. The number 3 slot is my stream of the Game Awards, where I intentionally hosted a terrible watch party with the Game Awards just shrunk down in a tiny corner and muted while I played games and ignored them. I thought it was a pretty fun time, but apparently Jeff Keighley disagreed, because my stream was manually claimed for audio purposes. The section that was claimed said that I was using music from the Game Awards, but while looking at the timestamps, the Game Awards remained muted the entire time that they claimed. There was one portion of the night that I unmuted the Game Awards because I had that as a donation incentive, but that segment wasn't claimed. Instead, it was a portion when an orchestra was playing, but just on mute. And the claim was for audio, not visual, so I have no idea how this happened, but I filed a counterclaim and they, of course, rejected it. And in case you're not aware, after that happens, you basically have no recourse unless you are willing to take them to court, which is absolutely not worth it for the amount of money you get from a YouTube stream. The number 2 slot goes to my recent stream of the Pokemon Presents, where they revealed Gen 10 Winds and Waves. Now, reacting to things like Nintendo Directs and PlayStation Presents is always risky, as oftentimes trailers use copyright music that they've licensed but you haven't. And if that gets caught in your audio, then the claimants will fire a claim against you, and this is actually one of the few times in which YouTube's copyright claim system is going in accordance to copyright laws. I think it's kind of silly because these are advertisements and you would expect them to want the ads to reach as broad an audience as possible, but it is not technically fair use, so those claims are valid. That being said, if you file a counterclaim, 9 times out of 10 these companies will drop it, as they tend to be understanding about the directs and restreams and stuff like that. This was not one of those cases, though, because my Pokemon Direct, it was claimed by Nintendo initially, but they reversed it once I filed a counterclaim. However, a month later, it was claimed again, but this time not by Nintendo, but by another YouTuber who claimed that I was stealing their content and cited a video where they reacted to the Pokemon Presents. Because I don't use a face cam, the only thing on screen was the Pokemon Presents, and YouTube just assumed that this person created the Pokemon Presents themselves. So they were able to claim my video and they're getting revenue from it. I filed a counterclaim and they rejected it. Just some random fucking loser nobody YouTuber is getting revenue from my reaction to the Pokemon Presents. And what's hilarious is they did it a month afterwards. Nobody's fucking watching that anymore. Pokemon Day, like nobody's watching my reaction anymore. So it's just absurd. I only highlight it to show just how abusable this system is. Although the number 1 slot, I think, highlights it even more. And that is because just a week ago, years after I did the playthrough, my Pokemon Black Zero EXP challenge run got copyright claimed, not by Nintendo, but by another random YouTuber claiming that I used audio from their meme video of Toothless dancing to the Driftvale City music, because the Driftvale City music played in my Pokemon playthrough. And YouTube allowed it! I filed a counterclaim and it was rejected! What the fuck is this system? Like, I'm not mad, because, I'm a little bit mad because it's ridiculous that this is a thing, but I'm not losing any money off of it. Again, this is a stream that's like, I think it's like 4 or 5 years old. I don't remember when I did the playthrough, but it was a while ago. Nobody's watching the Pokemon Black Zero EXP playthroughs. It was one of the first things I ever did on the channel. And it's not even like it's old videos. They're old stream VODs. Nobody watches stream VODs that are multiple years old. So I'm not losing any revenue off of it. I'm just flabbergasted that this is like okay. And what makes this more absurd than the person who claimed my Pokemon Presents is the Toothless Meme Guy took it a step further and actually sent me an email, several emails, saying that I needed to delete my stream VODs because they were in violation of his copyright laws. And I'm just like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, my stream is fair use. Playing the game and streaming it, that is fair use. For what it's worth, the Toothless Meme Dance is not actually fair use. Nintendo would be within their legal rights to take it down. Now, they don't, and I don't think they should, because Nintendo actually has an official policy that, like, you can use their music, and they won't copyright claim it as long as it's not remixes. That's why so many YouTubers, like video game YouTubers, default to Nintendo music as their background music. It is in violation of copyright law, but it's not something that Nintendo's ever going to act on. So people use it because it's easy, right? It's safe. But Toothless Meme Guy apparently has decided that that makes it his fucking property. So I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. I got like 3 angry emails from Toothless Guy immediately after this claim went up. And he was just, well, it wasn't him actually. No. It was, cause he's part of a multi-channel network in MNN. Which by the way, those are scams. If you're like trying to be a YouTuber, don't join an MNM, but like, yeah, I don't fucking know how to end this video, so I'm just gonna end it here. Yeah, what the fuck? On the topic of YouTube demonetizing my videos, I want to thank my patrons. So thank you, Glupshido, Erica Ford, Perg Knight, Wylo1, George Grenville, the 7th PM, Jamie Collins, Arvis, Crispy Matthews, Floahay, Amy Hazel, Hungry Heart, Hound Dogs, Burnt to Cinders, Lovis Roman, Shinthia, Faulty Videos, Kyle Madison, Derek Williams, Anna Cabana, The Daily Fugel, Faye, Magic Bite, Thoughtful Insanity, Robin Goodfeller, JT Spritter, Ziggy WSB, Dysike, Chris, Root Beer Pants, Queen Eliza, Controlled Aegis, Roman Kermanzik, Nick Knack Hammersmack, Carrier Has Left, Angel Nap Caceres, Zanwiff, Not Gino, Flingon, Edward C, Cyrockin 2, Cabbage, Caius Cole, Bree, Punchfighter Champion, Eggman, Maxine, the Vampire Queen, Dragonback Lancer, Sardonic Muse, Wesley Toma, Name Number 5, Laura Hunter, Femtal Illness, Wannabe Cinnabon, Punk Tattoo Guy, Key the Iron Idol, Calamity Callie, Jax McMahon, Saren Girlixy, Rezi, Dino Anna, Andu, Rhea, Gameboo, Carosa, Fyrant, Your Doctor, Frozen Helm, Patwit, KH, Electric Giga, Girl Boss, Lizard Bongwater, Christopher Bueno, Marin McLean, Jaden, Dylan Solis, Some Trades, Guiji555, Smaz Ruby, Zycrum, Robin D, Alenby, They Thumb, Klon, Pillow Willow, Gabe the Green, and especially my Jagans, Him Rowan, Adele, Alexander Roper, Siggy, Lil Man, KTR RK2, Sensitive Luigi, and Autumn. If you would like to join the names on screen, there is a link to my Patreon down below, but please only donate if you can comfortably afford to do so. I promise, despite this copyright system, I'm financially fine. I don't need your money to survive. But, you know, if you want to throw some my way, I always appreciate it. Regardless of what you choose to do, though, I hope you have a wonderful day. Unless you file a false copyright claim, in which case, I hope you stub your toe 17 times. Good night, gamers.